Hi guys, my name is Katlaho Baiti and this is Existential.Kulture. So there's a channel on YouTube that said something very interesting, and I was curious as to how does this translate into film and television. And that is on Andrewism, where he says anti-capitalism is capitalism. And I found that very intriguing, and it made me think about some of my favorite softly anti-capitalist films and series, and some of the old classics. So if we start with the classic, that is Tyler Durden and Fight Club. Now, in Fight Club, it's all about fighting against the system. It's also very anti-society and anti the ultra-rich. And you see this when Tyler Durden takes the narrator to steal some liposuction fat that they use to make the soap, which is also in the posters. This is a stick it to the rich sort of theme that you see throughout the film. And there's a lot of themes of, working jobs that you hate for the you don't need, stolen from Papa Roach, that line. But never mind that. It's still about fighting against the system and stop feeding into, consumerism. There's a whole thing about it where the lead character, the narrator, talks about his IKEA furniture, his fancy things that he owns, and it doesn't mean anything. All the ads that he sees around him, this high consumer society, it doesn't mean anything. And of course, spoiler alerts, right at the end, everything comes to a head. Tyler Durden sort of wins with that epic scene where he says to Marla, "You met me at a very strange time in my life." Also, can we just pause for just what an epic moment that is in filmmaking with the music. Now, how is this clearly, anti-society, kind of anti-establishment piece of art? How is that capitalist? Well, you just have to look at the award circuit. You just have to look at the fact that, it's about making money. It's about making bank. Even Edward Norton said it himself in a receiving an award, standing next to Fincher as well as Brad Pitt, that if Tyler was at this award ceremony, he'd tell you that it's all rubbish, and it was quite funny in the moment. But that is, I'm being very meta about it, but it's there to make money. So as much as it's a soft anti-capitalist kind of idea, it is still purely there to make us thrive. It's there to make capitalism thrive, should I say, rather.
There you are, you little killer.
I haven't played Fallout at all, the game, but the series was really fun. The moments with the music that would juxtapose what was happening was quite funny, and often it shows you just how far we will go with capitalism, or just how far capitalism will go, because they even say it themselves in the show. Walter Goggins, I forget his name, the Red, he's got the the skull and things like that. He even says it while he's a normal person, that, hey man, this is capitalism, what we're doing here. We're supposed to be doing this thing. And it reminds me of a quote that says, "We can easier see the end of the world than we can see the end of capitalism." Now, this show, again, is a soft criticism of capitalism as one of its themes. As a result, what happens? I can't wait for season 2, right? There's going to be merch sold, right? Merch that's going to be all about pushing consumerism.
That's called capitalism, Charlie.
And definitely, in many ways, anti-capitalism is capitalism. Film I'd like to talk about, which touches a little bit on capitalism, is a camp 80s. I wouldn't say it's a classic, but it does have some iconic imagery, and that is They Live. And that really speaks to capitalism in so many ways. It says God is your money, and buy. Visually, it's very striking, just as a single image, just as an idea, and it still really ties into how we live our lives today on Instagram, on Pinterest, all the rest of it. And I say this as someone who is a filmmaker who is essentially making corporate propaganda, right? Because that's what advertising is. I'm reaching out for art in everything I do, but essentially, being in advertising, that's what you do. But in They Live, other than the very over-the-top cap 80s way it ends, the themes of it are quite good. They say that aliens are the ones here making us do all these bad things, making us be hyper-consumerist, making us believe that God is money, but actually it's not aliens, it's us. It's the call is coming from inside the house. We as human beings have created this world that is really hyper consumerist. Like, think about it. The economy and money itself doesn't really exist. The value we put on it exists. And we as a society have decided that, and it's pretty wild, but it's quite fun to see it in storytelling, right? So that's the paradox of enjoying anti-capitalist art, is that anti-capitalism is capitalism. We out.